There is nothing wrong with your internet. Do not attempt to adjust your settings. We are controlling the podcast. We control the squealing and the screams. We can make your heart flutter, your eyes blur from tears, or sharpen your mind to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit back. We are in control of what you hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your settings. You are about to experience the awe and mystery known as the female mind. You are now entering the Fangirl Zone. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Fangirl Zone. I am Sean, Fangirl S, and today we are talking Dirk Gently. And joining me once again with many things is Miss Natty Willy from the Nerd Element. Hello, Natty.
Hello. I'm so happy to be talking about this show since I need to be writing it. It's like, I need to be writing it, but at least I can talk about it because I feel like no one else from our group watches it.
I'm so glad you are talking.
I think Michelle watches it, but I need to make sure.
It's so hard when there's a show and you're like super excited and nobody else you know is like watching it. Like, I do that at work all the time. It's like, oh, are you watching this? No. Oh.
Or they're like all late about it and it's like the season's already over and I'm like, dude, seriously?
Oh, I know. My manager all of a sudden decides he wants to start watching Game of Thrones and we're like, oh, watch one episode a week.
Same thing.
He's never watched any.
No, but she's like finally caught up, like the last season. And I'm just like, really? So you're telling me that we could have been talking about what you watched so far at least? Oh boy.
But Dirk Gently, I don't know why there aren't a whole lot more people watching this around us. Because there's a ton of people watching. Apparently we are so spread out.
Yeah, it's weird.
But I love this. So we are talking episode 8. Little guy, black hair. When evil forces converging on all sides. Oh, okay, let me try that one again. With evil forces converging on all sides, Dirk Gently must take charge to rescue the feuding Brotsman siblings from certain death. While in Bergsburg, Panto offers Bart a better life, as Farah and the police contend with the disappearance of Todd and Dirk and the arrival of Blackwing.
You know, that's funny considering how we did not see Panto and...
Thank you. That was last
Bart,
episode.
Like, at all this episode.
Wait, was that last episode or even two?
No, it was 2 episodes ago. Like, he was like, I can offer you something better.
I feel like they forgot to put that in, so now they're catching up with it.
Well, I mean, we didn't see Farah last week.
Right.
They mostly focused on Wyndham more, so I was like hoping that we would at least see something this week, which we do. So I was glad for that because I would have been mad. Like, does Farah escape from Blackwing? Like, what the hell?
I'm very glad that we actually have a whole lot of Farah and Tina in here because we haven't seen them, and it was starting to get a little worrisome. It's like, what's going on? Where did they capture Tina and put her away? But let's start at the beginning.
We got a flashback again.
We did. And at first it took me a second to realize who these people were. But it's the Cardenas family, the adults, fighting. Apparently this has happened quite often.
Yep.
And we see our older son, since we found out that there's 2 now, seeing the fight in the kitchen, and Mom... At first I thought she just cut the dad with the scissors, but she stabbed him in the head with the scissors and killed him. Now, those are hella sharp scissors to go through his skull like that. I'm just going to say that.
You know what? Granted, I've never tried to stab someone with scissors, but I don't know. Could it just be the sharpness as well as the fact that it is a sharp object, period? Like, did it have to be dull for it to not go in? Like,
I don't know. I feel like your skull's a little thicker than just, like, a pair of scissors, but...
True.
Especially the front area. I don't know, but... Well, needless to say, Mom did it.
Yep.
And she grabs, because we just see the one kid, like, looking around the kitchen door. She sees him and she grabs his hand and then they kind of start to run through the house because she's freaking out and you see her mouthing, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly they stop. And then we see finally the second kid.
Yeah, so the second kid is the boy that's imagining stuff in his dreams.
Yes.
For some reason, I thought it was the older boy, but I figured that was Arnold. I was trying to figure out which was which until, like, he passed out.
Right.
And I was like, could that be how the scissors became weapons in Windemore.
That's what I was thinking. Because they've seen it.
Because he saw the scissors, there, it was blood, and then the scissors, of course, went into the other dimension of the house.
Right, which was so weird, because as the mom runs away from Arnold, and she gets in the car, and she literally flies away in the car.
Yeah, so I'm like, before you passed out, he must have made that happen, and that's that's how she wound up in the tree.
Right. I was thinking that was because we see the second child, like, fall asleep.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the dad's body's gone, the mom's flying away, the scissors, like, kind of dissolve into the blood. So I assumed it was all happening because everything he thinks of happened. So, she wanted to get away, and I'm sure at one point she's like, we can fly away from here. Like, not literally fly away, but, to go away. Mm-hmm. And he made it all happen. So I felt so bad, because then you're like, okay, this kid passes out. You have
pretty much abandoned your kid.
Right.
Like, what the hell?
And you have the older kid who looked to be like, what? Maybe
12?
I would say 12, 13. And now he's going to be responsible or something. It's like, oh my God, this is the worst thing that I can imagine for these kids.
Yeah, and then we find out later, of course, that he's the one that called the organization that became pretty much Blackwing, or the predecessor of Blackwing, to turn him in.
Right. Because he didn't know what to do.
And that's understandable.
Yeah.
Like,
he's a kid.
Not only that, but he's probably resented the fact, let's be for real, that this kid has been doing all of this stuff, and now and he's probably the cause of his parents fighting. And so it's just like, he's been living with that for years. Yeah. And now he's dead. Thanks to Susie Borton.
Because Susie's such a raging...
Oh my gosh.
Well, let's come back to the present. And we have Priest at the house. And, like, all of these people in, like, containment suits. And all this...
Blackwing.
Yeah. I'm like, all these weird, I don't know, ventilation things in the house. And a cage that you can't really see into it. But as he walks by, he does hit a button and kind of shocks whatever's in there. And then we do find out...
He's a twisted individual.
Yes, he is. We do find out that he's talking to... Well, he attempts to talk to Friedkin, I should say. And Friedkin's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, put Ken on the phone. I feel like Ken is, like, taking over.
Yes, he is. And you can totally see this as... Because Friedkin doesn't read the file. So how can he, like, really effectively run something if you're not reading the reports people are giving you so you have an understanding of what you're doing?
Well, apparently he needs pictures. I don't know. A pop-up book.
How much of an idiot Friedkin is, even though he can be just totally ruthless when he needs to be.
But how the hell did he even pass, like, the exams to get where he is?
That's what I don't understand.
Maybe he's got hit in the head a lot. I don't know.
But Ken is at least, thinking, like, there's something going on, and he figured out Mona.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Well, wait, before we get there, we find out Priest found the pocket dimension of the house within a house. And so what's in the cage is the purple people eater.
Poor thing. Now he's going to be part of Blackwing.
Right.
And experimented on, like, for who knows how long.
But Friedkin has a meltdown, too, because, I have to love this, and I'll explain this, only because this was actually said to me at one point, and I'll explain a little more, but Ken's like, you have to read the reports. He's like, everybody needs to stop telling me. Reading things is not a way to understand. This was said to be not quite exactly that. When we were changing our hours of operation where I work, there were signs up for a good 60 days before it was happening. Everywhere, attached to all the bags, in just the regular bags, all over the store. And I was told, nobody ever reads signs. You're supposed to just tell everybody, because how am I supposed to understand these things that are happening if you don't tell me? And so when this was said in the show, I seriously had to pause it and just stop and be like, okay, that just happened. So either the writers were in my head and seen this, or they've actually heard people say this, because it's amazing that people think, oh no, I don't have to read to understand anything. You kind of do.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the whole directions thing. No one wants to read directions.
But
they like looking at the pictures.
That's true. It's IKEA. But, like, something as complicated as Blackwing and as multi-leveled as everything is, you have to read. Maybe a Cliff Notes version, but you gotta read something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did enjoy him having a meltdown. Mostly because he irritated me so much last season and almost the entire time this season. So I'm like, I was glad to see him.
Well, I mean, he's done some things that I can never forgive him for, but, you know, I just pretty much killing that detective. So he needed to have a meltdown, and I feel like Ken sneaking in and taking over, I love it. So just let Ken take over, at least he is competent.
He is. I'm just hoping he's still on our side when all is said and done.
Me too, but I'm just saying, at least for right now, he's competent.
Yeah.
So, and Priest at least seems to respect that to a degree. Like, cause he's already like, let me just talk to Ken. And he actually knows what he's talking about.
We'll see how it ends up, though.
Yeah, really.
I don't want my heart broken. Empo,
yeah, really.
Don't break our hearts. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, because we'll be having a discussion, either on Twitter or some kind of discussion.
It might be soon. Let's keep tuned. Yeah. Here, keep tuned to both of us. All right, let's jump back. We have Farrah and Tina. Well, Farrah goes back to the station and randomly starts getting shot at, and I was like, oh my gosh, Blackwing's there. But it's not. It's Tina, who's just kind of shooting from behind the desk. Thankfully, she's a bad shot.
Well, that, and she at least got out of the, the door that she got stuck in.
Yeah, that's true.
At the hospital. And Farrah got away from Priest because, at the time he was busy with Dirk and Todd, who escaped to, managed to escape to Windemore. So she woke up long enough to, get out of there, which was good.
Because we were worried.
Yes, we were worried. I did not want her to get hurt anymore by Mr. Priest because I would have been pissed. So.
Yeah, I would have been pretty ticked with that whole thing too. And, well, hey, apparently melting down is the word of the day because Tina had a meltdown as well.
Well, she also noted that Bart and Panto escaped. So apparently the door opened for Panto. It must have been time for him to escape. Just saying.
Or Bart just, has ways to make things happen. Magical universe.
I'm just saying. Well, I'm saying, at first...
Oh, yeah, because she does say if the universe doesn't want you to leave. That's right.
Yeah. Because she was able to come and go as she pleased, but Panto wasn't able to leave yet. So apparently that must have been the time when he offered her that the universe was like, okay, for right now you can.
Let's hope she goes and she's much happier.
Yeah, the scissors and the chainsaw was gone. So
I know. Why am I blinking on the chainsaw part? Like, I don't remember what we're talking.
Because Tina mentioned that weapons were gone from the evidence room.
Yeah, no, I got that, but where did the chainsaw thing even come from? Like, I don't remember.
I have no idea. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Just some chainsaw running around in the station that Bart just happened to find. Like, who knows?
Okay, so it wasn't something that we've seen and I've just, like, blanked on. That's what I was wondering.
No.
Okay,
no.
Good. Tina does start, like I said, she's having her meltdown about Susie. And then she starts screaming at Farrah how Susie's a witch. She's a witch. What can we do? You're crazy. We can't go take her out. You're crazy. She's a witch. And I'm like, all right, Tina, bring it down a notch. But then suddenly...
She just did get traumatized.
She did.
And she revealed that the only reason she even took this job was because Hobbs was like her bestie.
Right.
And that just made me like, oh my gosh.
But that's when they finally realize Hobbs is missing.
They realized that before, but then with everything going on, they totally forgot. Poor thing. Ugh. Yeah,
and I love it because Tina's like, we gotta do something. We should call the police. And Farrah like grabs her. It's almost like that.
Police.
That like shake a little bit. That, dramatic slap across the face. We are the police. Get yourself together. Even though she didn't actually slap her, but still, it was very kind of soap opera moment. Like get it together.
Yeah, and in Tina's defense, this is probably like the most action of any kind that she's probably experienced since she became a police officer. I mean, it's like Bergsburg doesn't seem to have a whole lot of crime.
They don't seem to have a whole lot of people.
Exactly. So I can understand the meltdown completely.
Well, at least we got a little more background on Tina, and yes, we know more, and hopefully Farrah's going to be able to kind of whip her into shape for the moment, and then she can slide back to however she needs to be once they leave, but she needs to keep it together while the Scooby Gang's there.
Yeah, really.
And then we get to go to Windemore. And we have Dirk running from the beast, and he sees a Kellum truck, and he's like, Kellum truck? What's that doing here? He's like, I'll put a pin in that, because he just keeps running, and suddenly he jumps into a passing wagon. I'm like thinking, okay, he's got really good cardio going, but even later he happens to mention how the beast must have, like, legendary cardio, because she catches up to him.
That's funny.
I thought it was
Hey,
clear.
she wants her Bibbit.
Yeah, right. I love my Bibbit. I'm like, it's the weirdest thing, and I just love it.
In a twisted way, she's like Bart.
Oh, yeah, where she gets so, like, single-minded on something.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to finish
this. And it's like Dirk just seems to attract people that get obsessed with him.
That's true, because, well,
Bart was determined to kill him because that's what she thought that she had to do. And then when they finally, come together, she's trying to kill him. But in this case, she just wants a boyfriend, and Dirk just happened to be there. So, I mean, it's just funny.
It's great. And let me tell you, Emily Tennant is who plays the Beast. She didn't answer me when I tweeted last week, though, but I don't know how that is not, like, killing her throat, talking like the Beast.
Yeah, really.
I'm assuming that's why she doesn't have a whole lot of lines, because that has got to hurt. I'm just saying.
Unless she naturally has a voice that's, like, deep like that, or croaky, that it works, but, yeah, me trying to do that, nah. I would, nah.
Yeah, I just feel like it's painful, is all I'm saying right now. But she apparently was doing a lot of the stunts. There wasn't a whole lot. There was a lot of running, so I'm just saying she's in really good shape.
Yeah, really.
I would probably be, like, laying down and be like, and then I'd have the raspy voice because I couldn't breathe, so it'd be fine.
Yeah, really.
We're still in Windemore. We have Todd and Amanda locked up in a stable, talking to each other, and Amanda's still mad. It's like I said last week, with everything that happened and the whole speech she gave to, oh my gosh, the brother.
Carson.
Thank you. I'm like, I'm Silas's brother. You should forgive your family and do this. And then she's still like, we're not okay. I'm mad at you. And he explains everything. He's like, I have pararhypelitis. I had the first attack after you called me. And because she's like, well, I don't even know why I called you. But then she looks at him like, wait, really? So
you're not shitting me right now. Like,
so it's like, okay, is she okay because he is now, dealing with the disease? Or is it okay because she tells him, oh, Watke was teaching me how to use it. It's like a weapon here. And so maybe you can use it too. So why is she okay? Just because he has it, or because he can maybe use it there?
That would be my guess, because she did try and prevent him from taking the medication, which, okay, this is the second season that no one is thinking about the cat. Like, the cat was like, last season, like, the kitten was used as a weapon pretty much, but then it got lost in the woods and we never heard from the cat again. And then this season, we heard the cat, like, when they were at Hobbs' house, but then after that, because Hobbs is missing, like, no one's gone over to feed the cat. Like, what the hell?
Maybe it's a cat that goes outside and he hunts. You don't know.
We don't know, but I need to know this.
For those of you that don't know, Natty is a huge cat fan. And hilariously enough, and Natty, I love you, we were in a chat for a different show with the showrunner, and she happens to mention, are there going to be more cats this season? And I about died. And I think that was a question he wasn't expecting for that particular show. So maybe somebody knows that we're big fans, and they're like, we're just going to keep mentioning cats and see what Natty does.
But we didn't even see a cat this season. We just heard it.
Yes. You heard about it. So
yeah, but I mean, we had the corgi too, so everyone loves dogs and corgis, and
yes.
so.
Well, and we know that they're actually really good to all the animals on the show, and that's why Rapunzel, which is actually a boy dog, I think, is probably like getting spa treatments and getting like way better pampered treatment than we are. So
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, okay. You were talking about how Ken figured out about Mona.
Yeah.
And he finally decides to tell Friedkin. And he takes him, weirdly enough, back to the cab. And I was like, oh my god, is the cab going to be Mona?
Wouldn't that be funny?
That would have been weird. Like all of a sudden she like changes and they fall. Like just onto the floor. Project, was it Lomia? Is Mona. And Ken figures out, yeah, she was a stress doll. So she was inside. But he also says that every time she changes, she forgets who she was.
Yeah, which I thought was interesting.
But he says she could get nudged back.
Yeah.
But she was a chair for 6 years. How did they figure out she was a chair?
That's a good question. And he didn't, unfortunately, get into too much detail with that.
I know.
But,
is she still the stress doll, though?
See, that's what I don't know. And he when he said that her eyes lit up, it was every time she pretty much helped someone escape. And was that Waukie's way of communicating with her, or was Waukie a nudge? Like, what would trigger her nudge? Like, that's...
I don't know. It's so weird.
It is weird.
And I hope we find out more, because just kind of like gleaming over it is kind of like, no, we need to back this up. I need a little bit more information. I want to know if that's still supposed to be here, because it's weird and exciting, and that's why I need to know. If that makes any sense. No, I mean, she could have turned into the cab.
I just thought it was interesting that he chose that area, even though he did say that was like the most secure area. I'm like, but why? How is it a secure area? Like, where people can't overhear him.
I know. I don't understand that either. Is it because whoever put him in there originally knew that he didn't have any powers, and so they didn't have to do, like, all this excess stuff?
Who knows?
Although if it's Freakin', it's probably because he just forgot to install cameras and microphones.
That sounds about right.
Let's jump back to Windemore and Susie with our weird little, like, I don't even know what those are. Those little...
We don't know what they are either.
Sack people.
Yeah.
And she's talking to them. She's by the pool, Waukie's pool. And
she's talking like crap to them.
Right? Just
like,
tell me.
Saying they're dumb. The way they communicate is weird anyway, so how... Unless you have an interpreter, you have no idea what they're saying.
Right, unless somehow she casts a spell on herself that she can understand everything.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. But
she was acting like they were pretty much saying hell no.
Right.
So I don't know.
But she stuck her hand in the pool, and all of a sudden she gets shocked and her eyes start bleeding.
Yeah,
and
I have no idea what that means.
I was like, okay, obviously this means this isn't for you. That's what I was taking it as. But that would have been an awesome cosplay right there. I'm just putting that out there. Anybody who's thinking of cosplaying Susie...
I would love to see some cosplay of Dirk Gently. I don't think I've seen any.
You know what the problem is, though? Because it's a casual look, it would be really hard to catch.
Yeah.
Because, and I'll tell you, I didn't catch a casual undercover Captain America. Like, my husband caught it, and he's like, wait, he's holding the shield. But we didn't realize, like, I thought he was holding a shield that somebody, like, handed him.
Uh-huh.
And then, like, double take, and of course, he was too far away. And I'm like, oh my god, right there in front of us. So I think we may have seen Dirk Gently.
Well, I mean, if anyone had, like, the yellow
or red
kind of, like, jacket, then that probably would have been a clue, but... Yeah,
But then again, a lot of the cons, it gets really warm. It's hard to wear a leather jacket. I don't know how some people wear some of the cosplays they do, but
true.
If you're doing a cosplay as any of these characters, send us a picture. We'll put it up on the website because I think it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, we'll put it on Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah, just shoot us one contact us at fangirlzone.com, and Natty will give you everything. If you want to send one over to her, I have Instagram, but of course you're going to make me look for it. I'm not really good at all my names yet.
Well, wouldn't it be Fangirl Zone?
It probably is. You
Wow,
act like
okay.
I remember everything. I don't remember if it's Fangirl Zone or Fangirl Zone podcast. FGZ because things are taken. I will look it up right now because she's just gonna make me feel like a big dodo. Or what did they call them there?
That's not...
I can't remember what they called them in Windemore.
Was it cuckoos or boo-boos?
Probably boo-boos.
Yeah.
Okay, even looking it up, I can't find it real quick, so... I guess
We'll wait till the end.
The Fangirl Zone podcast. The Fangirl Zone podcast. There we go. Haha. Go in.
Okay. Good job.
Anywho, yeah, I know, you think I'd remember it all, but there's too many names. Where were we? Oh yeah, so Susie, getting pissed, puts her wand in the pool instead, and all sorts of bad things start to happen. And
yeah, so I don't know if she's the cause of bad things happening, or is that just a coincidence?
I don't know. Right. But did you notice, like, all of a sudden her hand, like, starts changing the way the mage's hand is? Tattoos and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Not so good.
And also, she no longer has, like, the tape. It's like she has some kind of, like, web thing.
Was there? I didn't catch that.
I did not notice.
Well, I know there's no tape.
Anymore.
Because she changed herself, so apparently she doesn't need the tape anymore. The big giant thing of duct tape on her hand.
Yeah, really.
Still in Windemore, we have the Queen talking to Todd and Amanda. And she's... Dindemore. Well, they're still...
Dangdemore.
Oh. Well, they are the Dangdemores.
Yeah.
But they're still in Windemore.
Okay, whatever.
Alright, nothing like confusing everybody. Anywho... So she thinks that they're part of the Kellum Knights, or working with the mage, or the Trost. And they're trying to explain it. Not working out.
And and then Amanda's like, look, your son talked to me, and he ran away because of your BS, but of course she doesn't want to hear that.
No.
Like, of course not. So of course she's going to say that it's lies, and is going to execute him.
Even when Amanda's telling him the Kellum Knights are coming.
Yeah.
But...
Because she's still going to blame the Trost for that. Because the Trost were gullible enough to, take guns from the Kellum Knights, let's be for real. But that's because of the Kellum Knights spreading all these rumors and them being on the defensive. But she's not thinking that in a way, because this is a child's imagination, maybe the concept, even with the adults, isn't going to be that high.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking this as it's going along here. Considering this is from a child's imagination.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Ultimately, it as much as I hate the parents may not technically be acting like adults. They may just have still the mind of a child.
Okay. Yeah, I get that. And yeah, so finally she's just like, execute them both. Well, you know what? That's not cool. And as they're walking out of the stable, Dirk is kind of hiding, like, up on a little rooftop. And so essentially he's found his friends. And he finds out what's happening. And he wants to get them taken care of course.
Of course.
But
he runs into the Rowdy Three, who apparently finally finished their perimeter. Okay.
And they look weird, too. Like, they've changed more. Martin's head is shaved even more, isn't it?
Yeah, one of them anyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he tries to break in using a shovel very ineffectively and sees the beast. And as she's running from the beast, runs straight into the Rowdy Three, which is kind of funny because then here pops the beast as the Rowdy Three are about to do something to Dirk.
Yeah, she's like all defensive, like trying to defend him and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's so adorable.
But then Dirk actually hit Martin.
Yeah, he punched him.
I was like, what?
Wow, Dirk.
I was surprised.
Yeah.
Now, as this is happening, we have Todd and Amanda, too, actually having a heart-to-heart, but first they try to basically have a slap fight to try to trigger an attack, which didn't go well.
No, it didn't.
But it got them to come together.
Yeah, it did.
So, I mean, at least
they
that
needed
worked.
to have that conversation.
Right. And we have, like you said, the Rowdy Three and Dirk and the Beast. And Dirk's finally like, listen, you can't just go and randomly walk around, which was pretty much Todd's plan, too. Walk around Windemore till you hopefully find somebody.
Yeah, really.
I have a way to fix this. We can get our people, and they're like, oh, okay, well, tell us.
Boss now?
Well, yeah, after Martin hits Dirk back, he's like, all right, you're the boss, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah, it was.
Especially because after Dirk hit him, he's like, I think I broke my hand. My face is really hot. I am not this person. What is going on? And they're just like, oh, okay, let's do this. Totally good. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it seemed so out of character for Dirk. And the Rowdy Three, who we've been kind of concerned about, except when they were with Amanda. Like, we didn't know if they were good or bad or what the deal was. They're just like, all right, good. Let's do this then. So they just needed direction, I guess?
Yeah, and Amanda pretty much took that over until, they got kidnapped. It's just interesting to me. All they needed was someone to, understand them and just guide them in the right direction, like you said. I mean, she was fine with them being rowdy, like them destroying property and stuff, because, when they were traveling or whatever, but they were also by themselves, too, hanging out. So it's just weird for me.
Like not having the craziness or not having the, them gelling together?
A little bit of both, but it makes sense, and that probably gives them, development.
Okay.
At the same time, you don't want them to change, stay the same. You want them to grow. So, them slowly growing into who they are now is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like how they're all together. And I feel like Martin, who has always been, the smart one, is, realizing, okay, you know what, we need these other people to come in and talk to us, and we know we're all alike, and so it helps. But yeah, maybe that's just me. Anyway, so we also have, I don't know why I'm doing so often, sorry. Todd and Amanda being taken to the gallows. With creepy version of the song, by the way. And all that's happening, and all I'm thinking is, oh my god, is this the end of the show? Because I didn't realize how far we were in, but it wasn't. There's so much more. Let's jump back to our world, though, before we go into what's happening at the gallows, which was creepy as hell, by the way, with giant scissors still as, our weapon of choice. So,
yeah.
So we have Farrah and Tina in our world at Susie's house. And they're like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We can take care of this. But they go in. All they see is the frog, which we know is the sun, but they don't know.
No. And poor thing's just hopping around. I feel like he's trying to get their attention, but because it's a frog, they just have no idea.
Right. So hopefully something will happen, to change him back. I have no idea. But we also have Bob, who is kind of comatose, sitting in front of the TV, which is basically Susie repeating, look how beautiful I am, Bob. I'm so pretty. And, weird. And they find out it's like a spell. Mm-hmm. Because the mage suddenly is talking to the girls through the TV, which I was like, oh god, what is this? Where is he? What's happening?
Yeah, he's further away, but apparently he also is in on the spell at least. He probably helped her do it with, him being able to access it as well. And plus, he's the mage. So,
right.
It's an apprentice, all that.
Yeah, now I'm starting to wonder which one is the actual apprentice at this point. I don't know. But
no, I think he's still the mage, but Susie's kind of off doing her own thing. And because he's now going to try and focus on the Earth versus
Windemore.
Okay. So he probably just let Susie have Windemore. He's like, you know what, whatever.
Well, he does tell the girls, I'm far away. But since you're there with Bob, attack him. Kill him. It's like, whoa,
yeah.
whoa.
Kill both of them.
Because then you hear Susie saying it, too.
Yeah.
It was so weird. So he attacks, and there's a pretty good fight happening.
Yeah.
And finally, Farrah ends up shooting the TV to get it to stop. Because the TV wasn't even plugged in, Tina had found out.
Yeah.
And at least it makes the spell stop, so Bob just kind of sits and doesn't do anything. And he's still, comatose because of whatever Susie did to him. But he kind of makes, a sound, and Tina figures, okay, you know what? There's a way for us to talk to him. Which was weird that Tina figures this out. She's like, hey, let's do this thing called tequila talk. Do you remember that? You make a sound when you want to say yes, and don't make a sound if it's no. And I thought it was actually pretty brilliant because...
Yeah, because it seems like Bob in his own way was trying to communicate.
Right.
But he wasn't, like, talking, like, with words. He was just grunting. Even though Pharaoh was starting to get frustrated. So I think that's how Tina was like, okay, maybe he is. We just need to do yes or no questions. But then she also forgets when she asks about Hobbs. Like, she is expecting him to go with words instead of a yes or no question.
But they end up getting information, and she's like, remember when I was so messed up, and I couldn't talk. I had to come out of it, and I had to find my words. You can do this. Where's Hobbs? Because they happen to mention Hobbs' name, and he just makes a sound. It's like, wait, that means yes. So he's making it like Hobbs is not dead. I told you, off screen, maybe there's hope.
Boo.
What do you mean, boo?
No, not like boo, like I don't want him to be alive, but boo as in, it gives me hope.
Oh. I was like very happy, and I figured you were probably jumping up and down like, maybe he's not dead.
After all, yay.
So he basically managed to tell them that Hobbs is at the quarry with the mage. So
But in what condition?
Well,
that's what we
don't know. But, at least we know Hobbs is still I'm guessing more than just a pile of sand.
Well, let's hope so. We still don't know.
That's true. Hopefully next episode. But we have, the girls are like, yes, off we go. Poor Bob's still sitting there comatose. I don't know, maybe you call an ambulance for him at this point. But then again, they did mention that phones and internet isn't working. So maybe they can't even get anybody to get back to him from the hospital. That'd be horrible.
That kind of sucks, but can you just imagine how funky he smells?
Oh, yes.
Because he's probably just been sitting there in the same outfit. Is Susie at least letting him use the bathroom? I hope
so. But I'm also assuming it's been maybe like 2 to 3 days max.
Yeah, it seems like all of this
happens super fast.
Happens super fast, but it also seems like it's been happening for weeks instead of just days.
Well, time compression, sometimes hard to tell.
Yeah, it is.
So hopefully he's not too stinky, is basically what we're saying.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Windemore, and we're back at the gallows. And I thought it was going to be set up like where it was just going to cut their heads off like a guillotine. But it's not. They're like straddling the scissors, so it was going to cut them straight in half.
That's more gruesome,
right?
I think.
Oh,
I'm like, damn.
I couldn't believe that. And then, the queen gets up and she's like, all right, my fellow people, it's the Tross that are going to die, and these people are witches, and it'll all be over soon. It's like, well, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah, and the Tross are like working with the people, the witch people in the woods. I'm like, really? Like I said, she just doesn't seem to understand the concept of espionage. Like,
yeah, I think you're right with them having like, they don't have the full knowledge of things, and so it is kind of like childlike knowledge.
Yeah.
But hey, that kind of helps us because the Rowdy Three, Dirk and the Beast, show up in that Kellum truck. They bust through the gate and they save our people, and I'm like, yes! I was so excited that happened.
Yeah, and then they kidnap Silas. In fact, Silas and Dirk have this pitiful,
but you didn't
adorable.
Like the fight?
No, it was just pitiful in just the fact that now that Silas really isn't a good swordsman, although he did manage to cut Dirk. I mean, Dirk just has no idea what he's doing.
Right.
And Silas is like barely beating him. Like,
well, because Dirk's like, haha, I cut you. It's over. And then, Silas just like snips him in the arm. He's like, hey! It's like, that's not how this works.
You know, it's funny. Even though the adults seem to have think like kids, they don't have that full concept. It seems that at least Silas and Lizzie Bits at least was starting to figure out that maybe there was something more going on, and they believe the prophecy more than their parents did. After 3 generations, maybe that evolution started to kick in.
Well,
with this world.
Children tend to, be a little more fluid than their parents a lot of times, who have lived through so much and kind of set in their ways. So that's what's good. That's what makes us all grow. Although it didn't work out so well for Lizzie Bit, but
yeah, I know.
We have Martin standing off against Weiger Oak, who is the bodyguard, and then the rest of the Rowdy Three. They're all fighting him. And even the Beast jumps in, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting how just the fact that they're struggling against this one dude. Like, really, guys? I thought y'all were badasses. But I guess they didn't want to play their, like, major card of, like, feeding off people. So, you know what? I'm glad for that, because that would have made it even more, like,
awkward.
I think that would have made it worse for them. Yeah.
But, yes, they end up taking Silas, because they're like, all right, everybody safe, jump in the truck. And I didn't realize they had taken Silas.
No, me neither. Until he
kind of wakes up.
Woke him up. Yeah.
And as Dirk decides to explain to the entire group that he solved the case. And we get all this information, which I thought was amazing. And I'm like, wait, we're only in episode 8. We're getting 10 episodes.
No, well, you know what? It was explained around this time last season.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
And I love it because then Martin pipes up. He's like, this nerdy bullshit is what I expect from you. And he's like, good job, nerdy bullshit. He kind of like walks away, but.
Well, and it's interesting because, Dirk didn't really have that much of an audience last season, but he has more of an audience this season.
So, and it was so funny because when they show the group when he's explaining it to them, it almost looked like a poster. Like they could have used that for like promo for them because they looked like they were all kind of posed.
Yeah.
Which I thought was hilarious, especially Osric Chow, Vogel. He's got this big goofy grin and he's in a weird like position. Like you're not just going to stand like that normally.
Yeah.
So I thought it was great. So after, it's all explained and he tells him the boy is Project Moloch and he's in Blackwing. And he looks at Todd and all of a sudden Todd's like, this is it. This is my moment. Everything is connected. I loved it because he's like, yes, I've been saying it and it really is. Yay. And then what happens? Well, Susie decides to ruin the moment.
Susie. I know. I was like, oh, Susie, go away.
Yeah, and she just comes out, everything is connected. And I would have killed everybody. Ha ha ha. And then, fighting pose.
Yeah, and you know what? There's a picture, and I feel like I kind of know what's going to happen. Like, 'cause she seems to have great timing, so I'm expecting, like, a rematch next episode.
I'm sure we're going to get that, because the Rowdy Three there, even though she has, like, magic, they all have their stuff, so I think we're going to see a major foe versus foe here.
Well, in more ways than one. If you know what I'm referring to, we'll discuss on
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see that, especially since I think that will come for a circle.
Okay.
Full circle with that. So.
Oh, we'll have to wait and see. And our final scene was the girls at the quarry seeing the mage, and all of a sudden Tina's like, "What's he doing?" And then next to her is the mage, and he's looking down like he's trying to figure out what's happening down there too. And he kind of, like, zaps her. Almost like he turns his wand into a stun gun. Because he zaps her and then does the same to Farrah when Farrah turns to try to shoot him. And says, we're going to have so much fun. Oh,
so I'm
gosh.
like, that makes me even more hopeful about Hobbs, that maybe what we saw, like, the big light was him stunning him versus actually, like, killing him.
I hope so.
I hope so.
And we will find out. Okay, so this was a crazy one. And I'm so happy.
I like Dirk's explanations.
Yes. I'm so happy that we got this and the explanation, and now we have 2 more episodes to wrap up this case, because there is still them trying to get into Blackwing, which is why I'm really hoping that Ken is on our side. And we have to fight Susie, so we'll see what happens. Okay, guys, so as always, to check out www.fangirls.com, and you'll have our contact link there so you can find all the pages we're on, since I don't remember everything because there's so many. And unfortunately, sometimes it's the Fangirl Zone, sometimes it's Fangirl Zone Podcast, but all there. You can find us. It's so much easier to go there. And of course, if you're shopping, we have our shopping links on there that don't cost you any extra. You can go check out some stuff and buy if you want. At our Redbubble store, we have our logos up that we're all created for us by the incredible Des Taylor, who is an awesome artist, and you should check him out too. And I've already bought a couple things. It's like, hey, Merry Christmas, you're getting my logo. So anyway, Natty can tell you everywhere, because she actually remembers everywhere they are for her show. So tell everybody where you guys are.
Just check out our website, www.thenerdelement.com. I live tweet, yes, and this is for Sean as well, because she never seems to remember where I tweet from, because we have multiple accounts. Yeah, I live tweet from TNE_TV Talk Pod.
I know, I always do the sci fantasy, because this just seems like it falls in that category.
It does in a way, but I tweeted from that account last season, so I figured I'd be consistent. So I live tweet from there for Dirk Gently and other shows. I did live tweet Agents of S.2e8, which was so good last night. I'm so glad that show's back after that. The audacity of Inhumans. Oh, that was so bad. I
haven't finished it.
You don't need to finish it. Well, I was the same way. I need to finish it just to see what happens, but oh my gosh, it was so... Anyways,
yes, go.
You can also follow our fan account at the Nerd Element for that we retweet articles and stuff. And news. The first picture of Robin came out for Teen Titans. So
I seen that. That looks pretty cool.
It does. It looks like he built some muscle a little bit.
Wow.
I hope so.
Bring it back.
Okay. But definitely check out our main website. We have several podcasts that you can check out. TV Talk being one of them, and Sci Fantasy, which has guested Sean before. I do live tweet sometimes at TNE_Sci Fantasy. So just check us out. We're around.
And thank you again for joining us while Miss Jess is out with her raising her wee babe. We have talked. I am definitely going to have her back for the finale. Hopefully we'll be able to get it out right after the show. It just depends on how everything works, of course, with the baby, because babies don't work on the same kind of schedule as grown-ups.
No, not initially anyway.
Not for a long, long time. So anyway, for this episode of Dirk Gently, I'm Sean Fangirl S.
And I am Natasha, a.k.a. Natty Willy.
And until next time.